Good morning guys, and welcome to Audi Center Rotterdam. And today I'm going to review the new Audi Q2, and it's quite a controversial car because we all know the Audi Q models, the Q7, the Q3, the Q5, they all look a bit the same, but this Q2 really is a bit different from the other Q models because we started with the Q7 and then we got the Q5, which was just a bit smaller, and then the Q3 again was even smaller, and now we have the Q2, which again is smaller of course, but it's very different in terms of looks, because this looks like a somewhat urban SUV with a bit futuristic lines, very sharp, very linear, and it's not as off-roady looking as the normal Q models. I have the key over here, and I think the front of the car, the frame of the grille is really different from the normal Q models. As you can see, with the normal Q models you have this pyramid, well, how do you call it? It's not a pyramid, but you have all these angles, and this is just a bit more pushed in. It took me some time to get used to the looks of this car, but when you give it some time, it really starts to grow on you, I think. It has the signature indicators by Audi, which look really cool. Okay, let's see how big it is. Can I fit my dog in here? Yeah, wow. That's not bad, I think. It's very dog capable. Okay, so space in the back. It's not enormous in the back, although the headroom seems quite fine and quite nice. Oh, let's get in because it's quite cold outside. What's this? So you can water your plants if you have any in the car. That's quite handy. What is it? Windscreen de-icer. Probably an optional extra. Okay, let's see what it's like to drive. Let's turn off the audio system. Okay, before we start driving, let's take a look at the interior. We have the S-Line trim, so S-Line seats, an S-Line steering wheel, which looks and feels really nice with this perforated leather, and the small pedals on the steering wheel. Feels and looks really nice. We have the dash of the Audi TT, but we also have the MMI system screen, which the TT doesn't have. So it's like the Q7. You get both the gorgeous looking screen and you get the traditional sat-nav screen over there. So with this button view you can enlarge any things you're looking at. So this is really cool. This is the big Google Maps system, and it's kind of a competitor or alternative to a head-up display, and I really like this because it really is the innovation by Audi of the last years, I think. Like with all innovations by Audi, it probably will be copied by a lot of brands in the upcoming years. Okay, let's take it for a drive. I'm currently in auto mode, so that's a bit of comfort and dynamic and efficiency, I guess. And it adapts to the circumstances and your driving style, so And what I really like about these urban smaller SUVs, I don't know if you can call them SUVs, but they do feel very spacious and they drive like much bigger cars, much taller cars, and I think that's a real upside to having cars like this. And that's what people are looking for when they buy a car like the Audi Q2 or let's say a BMW X1. They want a practical car, but that drives and feels like a much more comfortable and bigger car. Okay, let's go to dynamic and let's see what it's like to drive if you push it a bit. The drivetrain. This is the 1.4 turbo petrol engine with 150 horsepower. So I think that should be enough. And we have the S-tronic gearbox. It's a dual clutch unit, of course. You do notice when you exit the corner that this is a front-wheel drive car. You can feel the torque a bit through the steering wheel, which actually is quite heavy in dynamic, especially round the center of the steering. But if you put it in comfort, yeah, it's actually quite a bit nicer. So it's not a very dynamic car. When you put it in dynamic and you start steering a bit, you notice that within 10 seconds, when you hit a corner and you want some speed, you notice that this is not its thing. But just leave it in comfort, because wow, that's comfy. That was quite a big hole and it just deals with it. And I think comfort is the thing you're looking for when you're buying a Audi Q model and not dynamics or sportiness. Well, maybe if you're going for an SQ model like an SQ5 or an SQ7, but there isn't an SQ2 at the moment. Let's hope it will be available in the future. The interior does look really nice, really clean, really minimalistic, but the materials and the switches all look and feel gorgeous. A lot of metals have been used and the plastics don't feel cheap, and that's a very important aspect of this car. The interior really feels like a premium car, and I think it's a lot better than, let's say, a Mercedes-Benz GLA, for example, which is kind of a competitor to this car, because this car is based on the Audi A3, you can say. It's both the MQB platform, and the Audi A3 competitor, of course, is the Mercedes A-Class, and the GLA is based on the A-Class. Okay, so performance. Let's see if it's a bit quick. Let's go for the big speedometer. Let's put it in S. And dynamic, yeah. Yeah, that's not bad actually. So that was 0 to 100 kph in 8.5 seconds. But you do notice that this engine is not about peak power. It doesn't want to rev through to 6 and a bit RPM. This is really about the mid-range power. You just want to go in normal drive. Again, keep it out of dynamic. Doesn't really make any sense for this car. And it does feel very torquey down low and up to like 3 to 4,000 RPM. If you go over 4,000, it really starts to decline in torque, and you really feel that. But if you just want the car to pick up speed, because of the dual clutch unit and the torque down low, it goes quite rapidly actually. And even though the suspension is really comfortable, it it feels very vivid and agile. It's not like a Renault Clio RS, but it's fun to drive. So it doesn't feel like a Q model when you're driving it, and that's actually what you want. And that's a trick all the new Q models have, because the Q7 doesn't feel very heavy, but it actually is. And I keep switching these things. They even have a lovely tick sound. That's nice. Okay, so that was a short POV review for the Audi Q2. And in conclusion, I really like it. And I'm starting to like all these smaller urban SUVs actually. Because the BMW X1, in my opinion, is also a very, very good car. And they're starting to look great as well, because the earlier smaller SUVs looked horrible, because they always wanted it to look like the big boy and just a bit smaller in dimensions, but it never worked. And because they now have their own design, they are starting to become much prettier. Okay guys, so that was it for the Audi Q2. As I said, I do like how it looks and its own design, finally. And I've seen this in yellow at Audi Center Rotterdam, who I need to thank for lending me this car. But they have one in yellow with a ski box on top of it, and it looks so cool. So if you're going to have one, have it in a cool color, because red, blue, yellow, it really looks very cool on this car.